Hello everyone, thank you for coming. As she mentioned, I would like to share with you our experience to self-publishing the games in Latin America region. As you may know, Latin America is not one country. It's more than 20 countries, almost 33 countries. I'm CEO and co-founder. We founded the company 3 years ago, and we were 4 people. My background, I love online gaming. I play a lot. I start my career developing my own custom maps in StarCraft, my own custom sprites in Counter-Strike to play them with my friends into LAN parties. So I love online gaming, and that's why we started the company 3 years ago. Well, a little bit about us. PlaySpace brings social casino and traditional multiplayer games for the Spanish and Portuguese-speaking markets. Let's say Spain, Portugal, and all the other Latin American markets. We have 8 cross-platform games. We born as company into Facebook as a canvas gaming platform, but then we moved into mobile as well, and we developed a fully cross-platform experience between Facebook, Android, iOS, and website. We have almost 8 million already registered players worldwide, almost from Latin America. We are 18 developers, sorry. We are based in Palma, Mallorca, really good place to live. I don't know if you know it. And we have about almost 1 million MAUs and 100K DAUs. Our PPU is around $30. Why we choose Latin America as company? Okay, when we started the company, we were 4 guys, and okay, we are going to fight against the biggest fish in the world. Okay, so let's go for a niche. So why Latin America? Because we have the market knowledge and local expertise. We are based in Spain, and I have worked for other startups in Latin America. Latin America has more internet users, mobile phones, and players than the United States. The user acquisition costs are really low, are really low than other developed countries. Latin American revenues increased by 37% the last 2 years. And the biggest important thing here is that there is still room to grow. The internet penetration is the 50%, and we want to be there when this penetration gets high, almost also with the mobile phones. The gaming culture is really similar as we have in the United States and Europe. It's not as maybe could be in Asia. If you see to the top rankings into the iOS or Android, you will see that the games are really similar as we have here or in any other developed country. Brazil and Mexico, told by Distimo, are one of the top grossing countries in terms of revenue into the App Store as well. And of course, in the huge region of Latin America, Brazil is a monster, is a giant. Why I mention Brazil? Because Brazil takes a lot of the market share of Latin America. They want to be themselves as a new, different whole country. They don't want to be called Latin Americans. They have their own culture, their own food, their own music, so they feel like any other country than Latin America, other country than Latin America. Brazilians also are the social kings. What does it mean? Because as you may know, Orkut, the social network from Google, their success was being by their Brazilian players, and then all the Brazilian users goes to Facebook and become the second country in the world with most Facebook users, Brazil. They have a lot of religions, Brazilians. Android lead the way in Brazil and almost in Latin America. If you want to go for mobile, go for Android. If you want to go in Latin America. And why Android and not iPhone? Because the medium salary is lower. Okay, imagine that an iPhone costs about $1,000 in Latin America, and an Android about $100 or $200, when their medium salary is about $300. So, but it differs by regions. okay, if you take the whole country of Brazil, the minimum salary is about $300, but if you go to the biggest cities such as Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, or the Distrito Federal, the average salary is about $3,000. So it's a huge difference between regions. They have 1.3 phone lines per person, and they didn't know the tablets before. It's the new concept now. 2 years ago or 1 year ago, people didn't know what the tablets are. They didn't use it. Right now, it's like a boom there. Well, about localizing the game experience, all people maybe know, okay, it's just translate the game. No, it's just not. Why? Because Latin America has a lot of dialects and pronunciations. For example, in Spain, if I say, I take this pen, in Argentina, I'm saying, I fuck this pen. So you have to be really careful with the translations and the words and the vocabulary. If you see at your Facebook account, if you go to your settings, you can choose from 3 or 4 or 5 different Spanish languages. Same for Portuguese. Well, about localizing the game design, the most enjoyable thing here, we changed the game rules and names per game. For example, we have one game is really popular in Spain and really popular in other countries, but they are called by different name. So we just make the same game and change the game rules or the game logo. Also, we have to be careful with the chat and matchmaking. Our games are multiplayer, so we don't want to join Brazilian players with the Spanish players or Argentina players. Also, we localize the voice and sound. For example, in our bingo game, you have a color, okay, it's calling the balls of the game, 1, 5, or whatever. We localize that color as well. We put a Brazilian girl telling the balls. We also design the backgrounds. We design the backgrounds to be more local experience. Room names as well. Achievement and collections. Instead of win a badge or a trophy, you win a caipirinha or a sevillanas in Spain. And for sure, the customer support and chat masters is really important here in multiplayer games as well. These are some of our games we have. We are really local games, card games, board games, casino games. Maybe you know, for example, domino or bingo, but other ones you may don't know. We realize as well that for all free-to-play games, refresh the content every week or as soon as you can is one of the biggest deals and the biggest important thing here. So we managed that we localize this content, and we found out that it's key for retention. We localize, for example, we have a calendar, for example, for special dates for each country, and we prepare some special offer or event for them. And you have to be careful with these offers because maybe in Spain the Magic Kingdoms are really popular, but in Argentina are not. And also the Mother's Day is not the same in Brazil that it could be in Europe. So there are different dates. You have to be careful about that. When we do these kind of things, we grow the revenues by 50% those days. For example, you imagine we put this kind of offer 2 days, we grow up 50%. About Latin America revenue distribution, it is really similar as the developed countries. We have an 80% of direct payments, you mean Visa, MasterCard, SM Spacement, or whatever, and we have about almost 20% of indirect payments. I mean indirect payments by offer wall, like trial pay, or whatever. As you may see, Brazil, for example, are really like to spend with direct payments instead of offer walls or whatever. One question that everyone's told me is, okay, but Latin America do not monetize. Yes, they monetize. But we have the problem of the first purchase barrier. Why I mention this? Because we have found whales, okay? We have found people spending more than $100 per month. So people spend really similar that they spend in other developed countries. However, the conversion rates are lower. Why? Because they are not used to pay in online games for the moment. But it's the same culture we have in other European countries. I remember in Spain 2 or 3 or 4 years ago that no one knows to or wants to put their visa into an online website. Now it's the most common use. So we want to be there when this barrier breaks. We have seen conversion rates up to 2% and RPUs up to $30, is really similar to other developed countries. But how they monetize? I have distributed the payment methods that per region, and you've seen that the biggest difference here is the bank transfer. They are more used to pay by bank transfer, mostly because Brazil, they use the boleto bancario. And it's because they are not feel good to put their visa into the online or whatever. So you have to make a trusted brand. So it's one of the biggest challenges when developing games from Latin America. In Brazil, for example, you have to implement it's very important to implement local payment methods because, for example, in Brazil, they have an international credit card and the national credit card. With the international credit card, they are charged. They have a fee to use that international credit card. For example, if they buy an in-app purchase into iOS, they cost them more. So if you have the local payment methods, people are more willing to pay. Another question that developers have in mind is which platform will I be developed first, Android or iOS? We started with iOS. The left side is iOS. The left side is an in-app revenue by platform, and the right side is the install by platform. With iOS, if the sum of 5 games, okay? And the red one, the Android, is just 1 game. So that's why Android lead the way in Latin America. So with just 1 game, we are making almost the same revenue with almost 5 games in iOS. And it's a really great opportunity because CPIs are still low. We have seen even lower than these ones. This is from Charboost. But for example, Android CPI up to 90 cents, we have seen even lower. And it is about a 50% or even less than in the United States. About mobile and web localization, now the market has grown a lot. Maybe 2 years ago, localized your mobile game wasn't necessary. Right now, Distimo said that most of revenues from local markets comes from apps that are translated into the local language. So in website, in social games, it's important to localize, and nowadays it's also important to localize mobile games. This is a case study of our bingo game. When we prepared the game to be localized at the half of the year, we localized the game for Brazilian players. We started to make user acquisition, and nowadays you can see that more than 50% of our revenues comes from Brazilian players. So it is a case study of how we localize our bingo. So the results: making players feel like home, keep them engaged and increase monetization metrics, implement local payments methods, and creating a trust brand will increase conversion rate. People are not willing to put their credit card into your game, but if you create a trust brand that they trust in it, they will put it. It's also important to monetize non-paying users through advertising. Maybe it's more important here than in other countries because the conversion rates are lower. And also it's important to have country managers or local partnerships for all parts of the business. And that's all. Thank you for your attention. If you have any question.
Hi, my name is Dan. I come from the board game industry, and I see that you do stuff that comes from the board game industry. How come? Because I thought, I've always learned that the people from South America do not play that many board games, except for a few very well-known ancient board games.
Well, in Latin America, we have, for example, Ludo, that is a really well-known board game. But I'm agree with you that the more games that play there is, well, Domino, they play around all Caribbean. And card games are really played there as well. You have, for example, you have a card game, but you can have 10 versions of that card game that can match for each country.
Hi. Thank you. Okay. My name is Kate, and please tell me more about local monetization method, because as far as I know, Google Play and iTunes doesn't like anything else except their own payment system, and allow it only for some rare cases. So what about, tell us more please about this method.
Okay, about iOS, you cannot do anything there. And about Google Play, they have just announced that they have opened for Colombia and Chile and other Latin America countries. And Google Play is still, if you have cross-platform games, you can use other payment methods. And for example, I didn't mention, but SMS payment works really well in Latin America.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Cristina Orrego. I'm actually a country marketer for Latin America in Spiel Games, and I have a question. You were talking about localizing game experience and regarding the languages in Latin America. Of course, there is a different dialect and different words, meanings, etc. I think everybody's aware of that. But in terms of cost, like why, for example, your company didn't focus on having one Spanish and a standard Spanish, like the most common words in Latin America, or let's say 15 or 13 countries. I mean, isn't it too expensive to have localized in each country in Latin America?
Well, yes, of course there are 33 countries, so we decided to make a neutral Spanish for all games. However, as soon as we grow more, we would like to translate into more localized experience as well in terms of translation. Exactly. More questions? Okay, thank you.